Hey, I think it's time now. I think it's time. My camera keeps moving. Let me see. Okay, so let me fix this thing. All right, that seems a little, not really, not doing that much better. Whatever. So, I think it's time. My camera. Turn that on. Yes. Okay. So my camera, not my camera, my printer. So my printer's making this weird noise after I print. It's god awful. Let me. The noise my printer's making. It's god awful. And let me show you what's going on. So it's been, I think, 5 or 6 months with this printer, and the part of the printer that's breaking. Flip it around. Okay. Adjust. Well, it's none of this stuff. It's not my print head. It's not my lines. It's not my main board. It's not my rollers. It's not my capping station. All right, that's locked. It's not my capping station. It's nothing here. I'm gonna show you exactly where it's damaged. I gotta spin the wheel. Hopefully I can unlock it. Oh man. Let me do it the easy way. To hell with it. There it goes. Alright, so that's the easy way. Good, it didn't fall. Alright, so the thing that's broken, I gotta bring the camera all the way down here. And that. That thing right under there. I really hope you can see what I'm talking about. Let me zoom in and show it to you. Right there. See that little, this thing right here? That thing's broken. But it's not broken here. It's broken on the end. Let me zoom back out. Hold on. Oh, come on. Switch. Okay. So back in here. So that little switch. Okay, it goes back in here. I can't bring it up now because when the side is off, you can actually pick this piece up and you can see under here. So that little piece, again, that piece here goes back in here behind the wall here, and then there's a little piece that sticks off. It has, like I told you, it's a little gearbox in here. All right, that gear controls like I think 2 or 3 pieces. It connects to. It connects to that piece right here. This piece right there. It connects to that, and then it connects to another gear somewhere back in here. I took one of these printers apart. That's how I know what this little thing does. It connects to like 3 or 4, like 3, like yes, I said like 2 or 3 pieces. Don't get me wrong, like 2 or 3 pieces. So it connects to this gear, and then what the thing does, it goes back like that. The print head, this print head, push this back. Okay, push it back like so. All right, and then that wheel right there. See this wheel right? That's inside of it. All right, that wheel here. When I push that back, when I push this back, you'll see it. See that wheel? Yeah, that wheel goes back with this piece. Okay, and then it engages that thing. What's going on inside there, inside behind there, and inside where this housing is, it's actually jamming up inside the housing. And for me to fix it, I gotta take damn near all this stuff off. When I say all of it, almost all of it's gotta go just to get to that one piece. Okay? I'm not fixing that. I absolutely refuse to fix that. I don't see the sense in fixing it. I'm not going to, and I don't care to. What I can technically do, because again, like I said, everything else works. Everything. The motherboard works. The print head, this app, I have 0 problems. When I say the only problem I have with this printer is that thing right there, I mean, that is literally my only problem with this entire printer. It's working flawlessly. Prints beautifully, runs beautifully. I haven't had any clogs. It's running so good now that I haven't even had a print head strike. That's how good this printer's running. Colors are great. Nozzle, the prints are freaking fine. The only problem is that damn gearbox. It looked like it was a defective gear. I'm gonna call it a gearbox. I don't know what else to call it. Okay, that gearbox got messed up, and because it got messed up, now the printer is jamming, and it makes this horrific. When I say horrific, oh my goodness, I'm gonna say, if I did put it in the right spot. If I did put it in the right spot, you will hear how horrible it is. And it's just because the gears are grinding. That's it. The gears are literally grinding. And it's because that one gearbox won't. Hold on. Plug this in. The gearbox won't engage properly in the back position, not the front position, the back position. When the printhead comes over, it pushes that gearbox over, so it locks in place. So because it won't engage properly, it just grinds to engage that pump. Sorry, it's try to engage, bring it down quick, engage that pump and this thing and the lock mechanism, so the printhead don't get locked in place, and the pump to pump out your ink won't run properly. And it only does it when it feels like to. So at some point, I know it's going to get to the point where it's going to snap completely out. But I want to show you, say it only does it when it feels like it too. Right? See, it's running now. It's going to do the thing, and you can see it's not going to make the noise. Oh, there it is. I hope you heard the noise. All right. It only does it when it feels like it, and I refuse to fix it. Can I fix it? Sure. I'd have to find a printer, take that little gearbox, or I have to take the printer apart just to get to that gearbox and pull it apart, fix the pieces, and then put it back together. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. I refuse to do that. Back hurts, neck hurts, shoulder hurts. And because my neck hurts so much, it hurts all the way to the top of my head. I am not doing that. Now, I'm going to be looking for a DTF printer. So one of the things I want to do is I actually want to find a DTF printer. I really am looking for a DTF printer. Oh, let me see if you can hear it now. So it's trying to go to sleep now. It's going to go to sleep. I want to see if it's going to make that sound again. See? You don't make the sound? So see, this time it didn't make the noise. It didn't make the noise at all. So, and it does that all the time. So right after, and when it does it, it's right after it starts to go into sleep. Sorry, when it stopped printing, not going to sleep. When it goes to sleep, it don't make any noise. It just kind of, the gear lever kind of works just fine when it's going to sleep. But when it is done printing, and it's right after it finished printing, and it does that weird, where it just kind of just sits over the capping station, then that gear thing there just kind of jams up and it just won't work. It won't go over properly like it's supposed to. I can keep the printer going for as long as I can. But at the same time, and in the same moment, I am currently looking for a real DTF printer. And if you have watched any of my previous videos before, you know what that means. It has to be larger than a 16-inch printer. Has to be 16 inches and larger. So I'm looking for a DTF printer that has to be 16 inches or larger. Anything under 16 inches is absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, absolutely ridiculous. When that thing right there covers every bit of work a 13-inch printer can do. Okay, this is a 13-inch printer. This does everything, as you can see. And as I'm telling you right now, there's absolutely nothing apart from a dual head, already roll feed printer, which is just, and at this point, is just speed. Straight up adulterated speed. Okay, you can print faster on a dual head. Let me say this again. You can print faster on a dual head roll printer. That's it. That's all those printers got over this 13-inch Epson 8550. That's it. There's nothing else. You cannot bring me nothing else. This Epson 8550 won't knock out of the ballpark. All right. And in some cases, I think it's printing better than those printers. And I have videos that prove that. So I don't want to hear your nonsense. You can keep that stuff to yourself. So my advice, so what I'm doing is I'm going to be looking for a 16-inch or higher DTF printer. So that is a industrial grade DTF printer. That's what I'm looking for. And for those of you who just starting out, welcome to the DTF world. And those who've been doing this for a little bit, at some point, you will get to the point where you outgrow this printer. And I think that's really my problem, is I just outgrow the printer. I really am. I want to make larger prints. I want to start doing some other crazy stuff that popped in our heads the other day that I want to start doing. And for that, you need a larger printer to accomplish a lot of that stuff. So that's what I'm doing. I'm actively looking for a larger DTF printer, 16 inches or higher, because buying anything else, in my opinion, absolutely ridiculous. But you do you. I am not going to tell you how to live your life, what decisions to make. But to me, it's ridiculous. That's how I see that. Okay, so I have my eye on one printer, but it's good to look around, see what's available, and that's my goal, to find a new DTF printer. But in the meantime, until I'm able to pull the trigger on that one, or if a company, corporation, business, whatever the hell it is, watch this video and feel sorry for me and want me to test, promote, or show your printer, by all means, pack the shit up, send it to my house. All right? Be more than happy to showcase your printer. I have zero problems with that. But again, it needs to be 16 inches or higher. Now, what in the meantime, when that printer, if that printer eventually kicks the bucket before I get a bigger one, I've already converted this one. And ta-da! So if you don't know, this printer is the Shore Color P5000. All right, I found this thing on Facebook. So if you see one of these things, trust me, get one. It's the easiest. It's fairly simple to convert it. I haven't done much to it yet. It's a little pricey though, but it's fairly simple to convert it. You got to buy new. You got to buy new cartridges, and there's 10 of them you got to get. So you got to buy new cartridges, and then you got to buy a new tank system. The one thing I haven't gotten working yet is this tank. I haven't been able to reset the chip on it, but I saw this one tank that has a resettable chip and a resetter that came with both the tank, the chip, and the resetter. So I'm gonna try to see if that works. If not, you just keep the same tank, and believe it or not, you can actually buy these chips in bulk. So I've seen a chip that came. I've seen a pack with 20 of these chips for like $50, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy the pack of 20 chips. And I mean, I don't know how long I'm gonna be reset. How often? Let me say this right. How often I'll be resetting it in the first place? It really doesn't matter. $20, $50 for 20 chips. That may last you maybe a year or something like that, a couple months. Hey, that's not a bad idea. So I'm gonna do that, and while I'm keep looking for an actual DTF printer, because again, like I said, I don't want to buy this. I don't just want to buy anything. Okay, I want to buy a DTF printer that's worth it for me. And again, 16 inches or larger. This is 16 inches. Okay, this is this says 17 inches, but I'm gonna say about 16 inches. Once you get done, it's about 16 inches wide, and you can print however long you want because it has a roll feed on the back. So I'm gonna roll feed this out, and this thing comes out. So you won't even need a table because this already has its own table built in, and I'm gonna go from there until I can find something that I think is worth it. I think when you get done converting this printer, it's about, I think it was like, for me, I got this printer for like $500, $600. So in total, it was like about $1,000 to convert this over to do DTF. As you can see, I have all my inks. So I'm gonna put all my whites on this side, and then all my colors are gonna be on this side. Or I put all my colors on this side. See, you know what? Put all my whites over here, because I don't need any of these colors. Perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna put see these right there? I'm gonna leave this exactly where they're at. And this might be the only one that stays in place, or I might actually no, I can't, because you know why I can't? Because this thing uses one of these two channels. So I either use this channel or use that channel, but one of these two channels are literally useless. So all the colors stay here, and then I'm gonna put all the whites on this side apart from this one. Or I might actually use the orange. Might use the orange for my yellow, and then put all these as white. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna use these four over here, the orange is going to be for my yellow, and then all these are going to be white. That's how I think. That's how I think I'm gonna run it. All right. And yes, CAD-Link does support this printer. So if you're curious, CAD-Link does support this printer as for DTF. And if not, AccuRip also support this printer for DTF. So if you have AccuRip, and the AccuRip you have to get is a white format AccuRip. So you have to get AccuRip white format. But I know for a fact CAD-Link does support this printer. I haven't tried it yet, but in the software it says it's in there, listed as DTF printer, and I'm going to use that to run this printer because I already have CAD-Link. And yes, the desktop version of CAD-Link supports this. Versus AccuRip, you have to buy the wide format version, not the desktop version, to run this printer. That's why I'm going to use CAD-Link, because CAD-Link is awesome. I'm going to run CAD-Link on this, the desktop version. And again, it's a Epson SureColor P5000. If you want one, you can find them on Facebook. I've seen another one on Facebook. I might actually, if I ever get the money to, I might actually purchase that one also, so I have a backup. This is a pigment print. If you didn't know, this is a fully fit pigment printer, so DTF inks should flow through this thing perfectly fine. You shouldn't have any problems running DTF inks on this, because again, it was built for pigments in the first place. Has a pump and all that other stuff. This printer had like 600 prints on it. So whoever owned it didn't use it very much. It looks pretty beat up, but the print count was very low. Unless, of course, they may have changed the main board at some point. I don't know, and it really doesn't matter. I just want to use it to print. And as long as I get it to print, my DTF prints, and I don't have to spend $10,000, $15,000, $100,000 for a DTF printer, I'm going to use that for right now, and this is what I'm going to use. All right. For some apparent reason, the gimbal got stuck in that direction, so I couldn't even... I couldn't even rotate the thing back around, so I had to turn the camera off, turn it back on, and then, yeah, I get it. So I'm done ranting for now. I told you enough. Hopefully that's enough information. If not, I don't know what to tell you. All right, so I'll keep you informed on the P5000, and actually I'm gonna keep you informed on the 8550 until that breaks. And when that breaks, I'm gonna switch over to the P5000, and then I'll let y'all know how that works out. Oh, P.S. I'll let y'all know what DTF printer I can afford, which one I'll get my hands on when I can afford one, and or if I'm lucky enough, a company watches the video and feels sorry for me and send me a DTF printer. We'll see which one works.
Step up your A game, or you'll be ashamed.